Good evening and welcome out to tonight's onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank with Tackle Trading. I'll be taking you through the site this evening, show you around a little bit, hopefully let you get to know us a little bit better and know what we offer our trading community here. Before we get kicked off, though, really quick here, a little bit later this evening, April 25th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Coach Matt Justice will be doing a special webinar right here on this YouTube channel, going over our 7-step guide to trading course. We'll talk about that course in a few minutes, but it's going to be a really fun and insightful webinar. Definitely would encourage you to attend. It'll be live at 8:30. Of course, if that's an inconvenient time, you can always catch the replay at a more convenient one. But it should be a lot of fun to catch that webinar with Coach Matt this evening. With that said, let's kind of dive right into it. You know, at the end of the day, what tackle trading really is to me is just a bunch of traders that have come together to share ideas, help each other out, bounce things off of one another. You know, trading can be lonely, and it doesn't have to be. While we are all going to make our own trading decisions, so often, you know, it feels like when you're trading, it's kind of you're by yourself in your home office or at work or whatever. And trading's one of those things that I think people either want to talk about or don't. And there's not a whole lot of middle ground. I assure you'll always find plenty of people here at Tackle Trading who love to talk trading. But as I'm breaking, and showing people around tackle trading, I like to kind of break it into three kind of, baskets, if you will, the things that you can do on your own, courses, blogs, some of our different tools, then things that you can do with others, basically the schedule. We're meeting with our team each and every market day in a variety of ways. And lastly, our weekend report where we can share some ideas with the community going into the upcoming trading week. So that'll kind of be the angle that we come at it here this evening as well. So let's just kind of start with that first basket and things that you can do on your own. We do have a variety of courses available to all of our pro members, including that 7-step guide to trading that Coach Matt's doing his webinar on this evening. This is a short course that's kind of an introduction into developing an approach to trading, right? It's very easy to do a lot of work and spend a lot of time, particularly when you're new to this stuff and not feel like you're getting anywhere. The 7-step guide really is kind of designed to kind of take you through that tackle trading approach to the market, from starting at the top of the markets, using that top-down analysis. How do we choose our strategies? How do we build and manage our watch list, planning, placing, managing, and of course, journaling the trades. In particular, if you're a newer trader, I think you'll find this very, very helpful. If you're a more experienced trader, hopefully there will be a couple things that can, make your current routine a little bit more productive as well. Matt's going to go through that here a little later this evening. Beyond the 7-step guide to trading course, we have introduction into technical analysis. Of course, as traders, we're going to be doing an awful lot of charting, right? And the more we understand those charts, probably the better. More charts and more charts there in technical analysis 101, support, resistance, trend, momentum, pattern, candlestick, all of that fun stuff. Again, it's so important that we understand those charts. And while I don't think you're ever going to figure out charts in one setting, it's like learning a language. The more you see it and hear it and speak it, the faster it's going to kind of sink in. We also have an Options 101 course. This is going to really focus on what's going on when you buy or sell that contract. What are the factors that are moving the price of that contract? A little bit about liquidity, right? Volatility, things that we really need to understand if we're going to trade whatever option strategy it might be. We're really going to focus more so on the contract than a whole bunch of strategies. I'll show you where you can find the strategies here shortly, though. In addition to that, if you've ever found yourself interested in learning more about futures or Forex, but not really known exactly where to start, we have introduction into those markets as well. I know not everybody wants to trade futures or Forex, and that's perfectly fine if you do not. But I never want anyone to feel like they can't trade those markets. Those markets are, can be a little confusing. A lot of ways they're very similar to, the stock market, but there are definitely things that we need to understand within those markets if we are going to trade them. Can be a great place to start if you've ever wanted to take a closer look at either or both of those markets. You'll also find a system development course in here. Every trader will tell you that you got to have rules, you got to have systems, right? And everyone agrees on that because of course, but it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. The system development course is really designed to help train you as a systems builder when it comes to your trading. Quite honestly, I cannot recommend this one enough. I think this is a great course for any trader, whether you've been doing this for 10 days or 10 years. We can always refine our systems, I believe. Definitely worth checking out, in my personal opinion. You'll also notice we do offer a handful of premium systems here at Tackle Trading. These are a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. We get together each month with members of these teams in a mastermind group. We're not going to go too crazy, but just so you know what they are, the Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks we put together each year with the intent of cash flowing via covered calls. Step system is our swing trading approach to the markets. Cash flow condors is another cash flow system, this time on the Russell 2000 and the bear market survival guide, kind of protecting our portfolio from bearish turns in the market and then managing and dealing with those when they occur, say, like these days, right? Been kind of a grouchy market. If you'd like any more information on any of those systems, you can find it over in the store tab, or feel free to shoot us an email, team@tackletrading.com. We'll be happy to get you some more information. Beyond courses, we do regular blog content, both in written and video format, whether it's hearing from our awesome female trading community in the Women in Trading blog, more charting and Tales of a Technician, more options in the Option Theory blog, taking concepts kind of from the ground up over in the Rookie Corner. These are going to be, relatively short reads or relatively short videos, but just additional ways that we can share ideas with our team throughout the week, answer questions that maybe our team members are having. Just another way that we can connect with our teammates here at Tackle Trading. Over in the Trade Center, you'll find a link to our clubhouse, our glossary, our journals, which we'll circle back to here shortly, as well as the Tackle Trading Playbook. Here in the playbook is where you're going to find all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We break our strategies into three core areas based off of the option Greeks, Delta, Theta, and Vega. Our Delta is our directional playbook. I think the stock's going from 50 to 55, from 100 to 90, right? From point A to point B. So, of course, that would include buying and selling stock, but it would also include buying calls and puts, doing debit spreads, doing back spreads, doing diagonal spreads, basically movement-based strategies. Then over in the Theta playbook, that's our cash flow playbook, right? The cool thing about options is we can sell them and bring in that premium and take advantage of the one guarantee, which is time decay, right? So that's going to be those covered calls and those naked puts and those credit spreads and those iron condors and the like. And then lastly, the Vega or the volatility playbook, where we're playing off of our expectation of the volatility as we're, kind of coming into, we're in earnings season, right? And if you've been around last week, you probably saw the nightmare that was, Netflix's earnings. So, going into that earnings report, there was no way that we could have known it was going to be that bad, right? Or because it could have been, hey, it could have been great too. It just wasn't. But maybe we did feel there was an edge to think it was going to move a lot one way or the other. Right. We just didn't know which way. So maybe we put together a long straddle or strangle. So these are where we're playing our expectation of the volatility on the stock or a ETF or whatever it is that we are playing. In all of these, there will be a detailed video going, what is a strategy? Why would we choose it? What are our rules for it? What does the risk graph look like? The risk to reward side of things. We'll be putting in a practice example on the Thinkorswim platform if you're using TOS and need a little bit of help from that perspective as well. You'll find a little downloadable PDF cheat sheet, if you will, so you have easy access to those rules on any of the strategies that you're using them while you're kind of getting to know them. You'll also notice that on all of them, there's anywhere from a 0 to a plus or a -3. And it's just kind of where we see along the spectrum of, 0 is flat neutral, 1 or -1 would be slightly bullish or slightly bearish, 2 or -2 would be bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 would be very bullish or bearish. Of course, we always want to match the strategy to our read of the situation, right? So we think it's going to be a big, fast move. We probably are going to be looking at a +2 or +3. If we think it's going to be a slow, methodical, grindy move, probably not looking at a +3 type of a strategy. And that's just kind of letting you know where we see these strategies along that spectrum. So that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this will bring you to a what's up at Tackle Trading page. So this is where we kind of started this evening. Our next upcoming show. Here's the information for Coach Matt's 7-Step Guide to Trading here at 8:30 Eastern. Our most recent posts. There's a little watch list function you can build for yourself if you would like to do so. You just throw in any symbol that you want. So you wanted to add Netflix to your watch list. We'll just throw it in there. I'm just going to now go ahead and hit this plus button, and that's going to add Netflix to that list. If I decide I don't need them anymore, I don't want them in this list anymore, I'll just select them and I'll just hit that minus button and that'll get rid of them. Kind of handy little thing to have an easy to access watch list, I think at least. Most recent tweet, little mini calendar, a replay or a live showing of one of our YouTube webinars, where you are if you're taking any of the courses, so you can pick right back up where you left off. So just really kind of a what's up at Tackle Trading page. There's also a variety of trader tools in here. There's a link to the market Skyline. This is just where you're going to find all of the big stuff in one place, right? The S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell futures, Bitcoin, the VIX, the emerging market, and all world ETF, the major commodities like gold and silver and copper and crude oil, the sector spider ETFs. Just this is all a big part of that top-down analysis, right? And kind of staying on top of the markets. Doesn't have to be on this page, but I do think these are things that we all as traders want to be going through each trading day, at least in our daily routine. There's also a link to the FinViz heat maps. If you ever want to go kind of get a little bit of a different visual of the day that was, that can be a helpful way to generate new ideas. You'll find a link to a news aggregator. This is going to go through some of the bigger financial sites like CNBC, Wall Street Journal, The Times. Maybe we'll get there. My internet's being a little bit slow. So CNBC, Wall Street Journal, The Times, usually Market Watch is in here as well. And this is just going to kind of go through and kind of aggregate these headlines for us, put it in an easy to process way. And I can just kind of scroll. And if it's something I want to read, great. If not, no big deal, right? So if you're trading Coke or are watching Coke, that's probably an interesting story. But if you think Coca-Cola is boring and it's not the type of thing you like to trade, it probably isn't that interesting to you, right? So just a way to save you some time bouncing around, clicking around, things like that. There's a link to the economic calendar so you can make sure you're aware of what's on the docket for today or for this week that could impact your trading. Another link to our market reports. We'll talk about them here shortly. You can also find up here in this drop down. You'll find a link to our trade journals in here. You are able to access them on the drop down of the Trade Center as well. I always prefer to come into them like we just did directly through the Trade Center, simply because it takes you right to the tutorial if you need a little bit of help figuring those journals out. There's no shame in that. Hopefully the tutorial here can help you. We have 3 different journals. We have the trade journal where we can it's probably exactly what you think. What did I do? How much of it did I do? When did I do it, right? And it's going to track the rest for me. What was my profit or loss? It's also going to get me very important information. Hey, how long on average am I in a trade? What does my average winning trade make me? How much does my average losing trade cost me? Of course, the bottom line, really helpful tool. Every trade that we make is data if we allow it to be. But if we don't have it collected somewhere, if we don't have that data collected somewhere, it can be very difficult to do. We also have the theta research tool. This is where we can build and compare our different cash flow strategies. We might have 4 candidates to do, bull put spreads on, for example, but we don't want to do 4 bull put spreads tomorrow. We want to do 2. Well, how do we determine which 2, right? If we like all of them, how can we separate them? Well, we can compare them fairly against one another, right? And that's exactly what we're able to do over here in this data research tool. And of course, the portfolio journal to kind of stay on top of the overall big picture. Some people only have a few trades going on at a time, and staying organized probably isn't tremendously difficult for them. But other people have, many positions. They've got, core holdings, they've got cash flow specific systems, they've got their swing trades, and that might be a lot of moving parts going on. So staying organized, of course, is critical. Portfolio journal designed to help you to do that. If you come into the trade journals like we did directly through the Trade Center here, just select the one that you want and you can download it very easily from this page. Again, you can catch them on the drop down as well. You'll also find a link to the compounding gain calculator, a chart if you ever need one, another link to our glossary and our search function. You can find the glossary on the drop down in the Trade Center, and the search function, this little magnifying glass right up here. So just a handful of different tools that hopefully can make you a little bit stronger as a trader. As we kind of transition over to that second basket, the things that you can do with others, there's a little bit of crossover, because most of the things that we're doing, we are going to record and archive. So if you can't make it, or if you need to rewatch it or anything like that at a more convenient time, it's going to be pretty easy to do. The one real exception to that is going to be our Traders Lounge that we do each market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We get together with members of the team every market morning at 11, talk trading, answer questions, share ideas, just very informal place where we can go and just hang out with other traders, get help if we need it, get ideas if we need it. Really, whatever our team needs is what we will discuss each market morning in that Traders Lounge. We're not going to regularly record that lounge because, quite bluntly, no one's going to go watch one from 6 months ago, right? And that's fine. We will record snippets in there. So sometimes we will, hit the record button and record a little snippet, and we can get it placed, here directly in this link. If you just click on the actual Traders Lounge, we're certainly happy to do that, but we do not kind of record the show in its entirety. Shortly after our Traders Lounge, we head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 Eastern for the Tackle Trading Halftime Report each day, live looking at the market, really where we're going through that top-down analysis, right? Where, what's going on in the market today, how is it impacting our index charts, sectors, commodities, stocks in the news, really going through that whole process each and every market day at 12:30 p.m. Eastern right here on our YouTube channel. So whether it's at Tackle Trading in the Lounge at 11 or over on our YouTube channel at 12:30 in the halftime report, every market day we will be with our team navigating these markets together. We're also going to be doing regular evening content as well. On Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our coaches show. This one will be recorded and archived. This is generally speaking the norm. It allows us to take a concept in trading and have an in-depth discussion on it, right? There's so many things that we can talk about in trading that sometimes it's really easy to talk a lot and talk a little bit about a lot of things, but sometimes we need to talk a lot about one thing, right? And the coaches show allows us to do that, whether it's, routine, indicators, patterns, strategies. I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about, right? Coaches show is definitely worth catching every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If that's inconvenient for you, if you want to rewatch, if you want to catch an old episode on something you find interesting, very easy to do. You can find that there in the archives. On Thursday nights, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our cash flow club. Going to be a little bit more narrowly focused on building and managing those cash flow strategies, right? So really going to be focused on the theta side of things, covered calls, credit spreads, condors, naked puts, and the like will be what we'll be discussing each Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern over in that cash flow club. As I mentioned a little earlier, we have these different premium systems that we offer as standalone products. And what we do is once a month, we get together with members of each of those different teams in a mastermind group. Typically, we are doing those on Monday evening. There's one going on right now, as a matter of fact. Coach Matt and Gino are doing the Step System Mastermind group. We invite all of our pro members to join us in those webinars. You do not need to have purchased the Tackle 25 or the Step System or anything like that to come in and hang out and learn and ask questions in those mastermind groups. You're always welcome as a pro member. So, if it's something that you find interesting, absolutely come on in, and it'll probably help you get to know a little bit more about the system as well. Typically, that's what we're doing on Monday nights. About every other Monday night, we do a special webinar here on our YouTube channel, such as the one that Coach Matt will be doing here in about an hour on the 7-Step Guide to Trading. It tends to be about every other week that we do that. Just another way that we can, connect with members of our team. We know not, everybody's, available at all these different times, and we want to always make sure that we're offering value to all of our team, whether they're pro members or not. We want to always make sure that we're offering value to our team members. So keep an eye out on that one. I also do this webinar on Monday evenings. You're always welcome to check it out again, but quite honestly, no two are tremendously different from one another. Just kind of showing the ropes, I guess, here at Tackle Trading. As you can kind of see here, I'm in the events calendar right now. As you're trying to, get to know us or find the links to your show, it's very easy to do. On Wednesday nights, we kind of do a twofer right here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern. On Wednesdays, we do our Trademasters Webinar, where a couple of coaches will come together with 3 different trade ideas: a delta trade, a theta trade, and a wild card trade. And they'll battle them out, right? Who's setup, whose trade, whose risk to reward looks better. Members of our community who are live with us will vote each round on whose idea they like the best, and at the end, someone is declared the trade master. It's really so we can, share ideas by Wednesday night. Sometimes we need to beef up that watch list a little bit, right? And there's never a bad way to find a trade idea, just another way that we can hang out with our team and bounce ideas around with them. Shortly after that Traders Lounge, we're going to come back over here on Wednesday nights to tackle trading to do our Wednesday night Traders Lounge at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to be very similar to the morning lounges that we do each day during the market week. So sometimes people just are at work. They're not, 9 to 5 doesn't allow them to get into the Traders Lounge, but they have questions. Sometimes we all need a little bit of help, and there's no shame in that. We want to make sure that we have something available if that is what your schedule looks like as well. Where it's going to deviate just a little bit is, we're coming out of the Trademasters webinar. So if members of our team want to take a closer look at any of the ideas that we discussed in that webinar, we're of course more than happy to do that in that Wednesday night lounge as well. In an overly simplified way to explain it, the morning lounge is really for our team's questions. What does our team need that day, right? Whatever that might be. The halftime report is really all about that daily routine, staying on top of the market. And then the evening shows are where we can really take a deeper dive into these concepts and really, I guess, put that teacher's hat on a little bit, if you will. And of course, that is overly simplified. There's always going to be a little bit of crossover, right? But hopefully, as you're getting to know us, that does kind of help keep you organized a little bit. If you ever, aren't quite sure when the next show is or where the links for that show are, very easy to find them directly here in this events calendar. We do a lot of content each week for our team, and we're happy and honored to do so. We don't expect anybody to be in everything. We certainly invite you to be. Know that you're always welcome. But I always tell people, build your own tackle trading, right? If and people might use a little bit different. Not everybody can be in every show. A new trader might use it a little bit different than somebody who primarily is trading cash flow systems, and it's okay to do that. Of course, don't be afraid to build out your own tackle trading, if you will. Hopefully that gives you a better idea of what our schedule is looking like here each week for our pro members. Let's talk about our weekend reports now. At the end of the week on Fridays, what we're doing as a team of coaches is getting together on what we call our scouting report meeting, where we're going through the markets, sectors, commodities, trade setups, and putting together a watch list and a game plan going into the upcoming trading week that we deliver to our team members each Saturday afternoon. The Tackle newsletter, the stock, options, and commodity reports. The Tackle newsletter is a look ahead to the upcoming week in the market. That's kind of that first step, the 7-step guide to trading, right? So here in the newsletter, we'll talk about the week that was, make sure that, didn't miss anything big, upcoming earnings, talking sectors, take a look at the upcoming economic calendar. Of course, we'll have a video going through all of this stuff with the team as well. Where is the overall market? The Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, ETFs if you need those, DIA for Dow Jones, QQQ for NASDAQ, IWM for the Russell, and SPY for the S&P 500. Take a look at the internals. This is going to look at over 8,000 stocks. We can kind of see what does it really look like under the hood, right? Sometimes an index is spot on. Other times it can be a little bit misleading. Each week, we're going to rank the sectors based off of what we're seeing on the companies within those sectors. We break our sectors down into 3 core areas: growth, cyclical, and defensive. We're going to use the sector spider ETFs to reflect those ETFs. If you're unfamiliar with them, what the sector spider ETFs do is they go into the S&P 500 and will pull out just stocks just at a particular sector. So XLE, for example, just energy stocks. XLU, just utility stocks. XLRE, just real estate stocks, right? So it's going into the S&P 500, pulling out just stocks on that are in that particular sector, putting them into a portfolio. weighting them accordingly because they are coming out of the S&P 500. And these are ETFs, so we can actually trade them. They are optionable, so we can trade through stock or options, or we can just use them to kind of track things a little bit. If you want a little more information on the Sector Spider ETFs, and always a good idea to go directly to the source. The ETF provider's website is just sectorspdr.com. In there, you can see how these are built, who's in them, how they're weighted, all of that fun stuff. If you want to take a closer look at those Sector Spider ETFs, we're not ranking specifically based off of that ETF. That is a part of the consideration, but it's the stocks that are building up that ETF is how we're coming up with our rankings each week. Our growth will be reflected in blue. That's going to be technology, discretionary, and communications. Our cyclical will be reflected here in gold. That's going to be energy, basic materials, industrials, and financials. And then defensive here in this purple color, healthcare, staples, real estate, and utilities. We'll be moving them up or down each week, sometimes not moving them at all based off of what we're seeing on stocks within that area. We kind of keep it on a football field here. As you can kind of see, between the 40s is flat neutral. 1 or -1 would be slightly bullish or bearish. 2 or -2 would be bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 would be very, very bullish or bearish. It is very unlikely that you'll ever see us put an entire sector into ±3 territory. I always say never, but it would be rare to see it. We are not that aggressive here at Tackle Trading. I know I certainly am not. As our meetings wrapping up on Fridays, we do what we call our rapid fire segment, where all of us will just share our favorite bull and our favorite bearish setup that we discussed in our scanning reports. Just kind of share what we like about those setups with members of the team. If we have a YouTube webinar, a special webinar, we'll make sure that we get that in here. So, we'll make sure to, promote it, let the team know through a variety of ways, but you'll find the links to it in here if we have one coming up. You'll also find a link to the Tackle Trading Discord. It's a great communication tool. Certainly invite you and encourage you to come join us over on the Tackle Trading Discord channel. A great place to be able to, talk trading, meet some cool people. You can get that information right in there. A friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation. You will also find a pre-built scanner. So if a particular area has caught your attention and you wanted to take a closer look at some stocks within that space, say the consumer staple sector caught your eye today and wanted to just do a quick review of some of the stocks in that, this will bring you back over to finviz.com. This is a group of what I call trader-friendly stocks, simply meaning good liquidity, so really easy to trade shares, borrowable, so we can go short if that's the way we're looking to trade. All of them are optionable. Now, just because a stock has options doesn't mean those options are particularly liquid or easy to trade. I would say overall, these do make good for good option candidates, but I will also say that in every one of these scans, whatever sector I'm looking at, there are some stocks that at least personally, I would never consider trading options on. But whether it's through equity or options, I'm going to be able to trade these things if something catches my eye. It's just going to get me some side-by-side charts, right? Give me a little bit of a bird's eye view. See if there's anything I want to take a closer look at. I look at Lamb Weston here and I can kind of see they, gapped into $70 right about here, kind of crumbled, double bottomed, and now are pushing that resistance level again. So it could be a breakout candidate. I wouldn't, dare try to make a trade off this little teeny tiny chart. But I can tell by looking at this chart that it's something I would like to go take a closer look at in my actual charting platform. And maybe you like that one, maybe you don't. It's okay either way. But just a very easy way to kind of look at a lot of charts, find some things that might be catching your attention, and go take a closer look at. Very helpful little tool. And of course, we'll have that for all of the different sectors. Just have a quick world watch. Where's the all world ETF, the emerging markets, the dollar index, and then some final thoughts going into the upcoming week. When you think about the 7-step guide to trading, and that number one step is start at the top of the markets, that's exactly what we're doing each week here with Coach Gino, who does a fantastic job in that newsletter. Coach Mark typically does the commodity report for us and does a great job keeping our team up to date with what's going on in the world of commodities, gold, silver, crude oil, copper, right? Things like that. keep you up to date with what's going on technically, what's going on fundamentally, what's going on with the themes behind these products, because these, commodities and it's kind of its own thing, right? Well, a lot of people think commodities and immediately think the futures market where they're trading gold contracts or crude contracts. I mean, that's technically not incorrect, but there's a lot of things that we can do through the equity and option market to take advantage of opportunities in the world of commodities as well. I mean, if we want to trade gold, for example, we've got a whole bunch of gold miner stocks. We've got GDX, the gold miner ETF. We got GLD, the ETF that tracks the price of those gold contracts. So Mark will also do a good job of making sure, we're aware of what those other avenues and options are if we're looking to play in this space. Our stock and our option report are going to be built fairly similar to one another. We want to make sure that going into each week, we have an actionable watch list. This week was particularly tough with the sell-off on Friday and then all of the earnings reports that are coming up this and next week to find candidates that had good setups and didn't have earnings within the next 2 weeks. I complain a lot about earnings season personally. But we're going to start making sure that we have good quality setups, both from a bullish and a bearish perspective. Where they're going to differ, of course, is, over in the option report, all of these things are liquid on the option front. At least all of us coaches would be comfortable trading them. If it's not a liquid option, none of us would want to trade it, and it might just go to the stock report. That might be why it's in the stock report. But everything in the option report is going to be, at least according to us here at Tactical Trading, perfectly liquid to trade on the options front. The stock report, sometimes it will be, sometimes it won't. You can always check. You can always go check, see if that liquidity is there. And if you're not sure how to do that, you'll learn about that in that Options 101 course. If it's there, great. If it's not, great, right? If you've ever been stuck in an illiquid option, you do not need me to tell you that it's not any fun and you don't want to do it anymore, especially for us here in the States. So many of us have $0 commissions these days that, we can take a stock position as well. Or if it's in the stock report and it has options, you want to do a strategy, great. If it doesn't and you only trade options, no big deal, right? Just make sure you're double checking on that side. We're also it's going to be a little different in the discussion. In the stock report, we're coming at it from a stock trading perspective. So it's really going to be about process, entries, stop loss, management, technicals, right? That type of stuff. Over in the option report, while all of those things are every bit as important, of course they are, we're going to be talking a little bit more about strategy selection, right? This might be a candidate where a bull put makes a little more sense than a bull call for these reasons, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about the strategy selection side over in the options report. But we do want to make sure the team has some good quality candidates to put into their watch list, both from a bullish and a bearish perspective, each trading week. As you've noticed probably on multiple occasions, we have embedded these trading view charts into a lot of things, including into these reports. Just a couple of quick things that you can do with this. If you hit this little button right here, that'll just hide the watch list. Smack it again, it'll come back. And to that, as you can kind of see. So just get a little bit bigger chart. The default is set to a 1-day chart on the candlesticks. If you prefer bar charts, very easy to switch it over. I know that's not a particularly popular thing these days, but I still know a couple people who do prefer the bar charts. I'm not one of them. These are swing trading candidates, and so it's going to make sense that they're defaulted daily. But if I want to go in and take a closer look at the intraday, or if I want to take a closer look at or a further outlook at the longer term, say the weekly chart, very easy. This little drop down will allow you to do just that. If you want to add an indicator or two, you can do that right here. Do be aware that it is not going to save. So before you get too crazy adding a whole bunch of indicators, just be aware of that, right? When you leave this page and come back, those indicators are not coming back with you. Your trend line tool will be right here. This is where you can draw your trend line, whether it's horizontal, support or resistance. It's not a particularly applicable trend on these guys right now, but we'll kind of go with it anyway. Very easy to do. If you don't want it, just select it, throw it in the trash right there, get rid of it. Not particularly applicable, in my opinion, at least right here on target right now. You'll also find this tool right in here where you can build a longer or short position. So a little pullback here on target. I'm not going to go too crazy. Let's just say we were interested in getting in above today's high tomorrow. If it were to go above that, I'll just call it right there because that's a little bit above that high. And our game plan is kind of put a stop loss a little bit below that low. And we have a target in mind of $260, right? We'll just go with that here. Didn't do a ton of work there, but just to really quick illustrate how this works. It'll let you know what your risk to reward is for every dollar you're risking. You have $3.13 in potential gains. Helps visualize the trade. You might say 260 is a little aggressive, Frank. I think going back up to this resistance level is as far as I would be, comfortable working with. But we can kind of set that down and see what does that look like. It's still $2.20 to one per risk. Maybe you wanted to have your stop loss, further down at 234 for whatever your reasons were, right? It really just helps save you time, help visualize, does a little bit of math for you. Really handy little tool. In my opinion, I use a lot. Again, right in here, you'll find that for both the long and the short side of things. There's a lot of other things that you can do with these trading view charts, but those are some of the big things that hopefully can help you out as you're getting to know us. So that's going to be the stock and the ops report. Again, everything in the ops, the way I think about it is everything in the ops report is tradable through stock if that's the route that I want to go. Whereas everything in the stock report isn't necessarily tradable with options. I can always go double check. Sometimes I'll be comfortable with the liquidity and perfectly happy to do an option play on it. Other times I will not be happy with it and I will not force the issue. I too have been stuck in an illiquid option trade upon a time. I also find it no fun at all. So, but kind of a way to think about it. But we want to make sure that whether we're trading stock, options, commodities, all of the above, whatever it is that we're trading, we have some actionable ideas that we're sharing with our community each and every week. Again, you can expect these by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to go through them before the market opens back up. As we get wrapping up here, just a couple of other things. The tackle today is our daily email. If you would like to sign up for it, very easy to do. Just smack tackle today. You can sign up for it right here. Just a quick thought of the day each morning, as well as kind of a rundown of what's the schedule looking like and all of the links and everything for that, the shows that day to help you out. We will also post it in this page. It will be delivered to your inbox faster. You'll get it into your inbox faster than this page. But if for whatever reason you just prefer to catch it here, you can do that as well. At the end of each trading week, you will find the Huddle podcast. Just going to quickly go over the top 10 stories of the week in the market in a quick, unbiased manner. Just, hey, what were the big stories this week in the market, right? Not what does it all mean, right? We'll leave that for another conversation. But just to make sure you didn't miss anything big each week, you can listen to the Huddle if you just click that button directly this way, or you can catch it on any of your favorite podcast providers. Each week, Coach Matt, Coach Tim, and Coach Mark put out the Trading Justice podcast over at tradingjustice.com. Great financial podcast, a lot of great discussions go on in that. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good listen. You can listen to that directly over at tradingjustice.com, which is what I do. But if you're more, tech savvy than me, which you probably are, you can also catch it on any of your favorite podcast providers. It's a really good addition to your weekly routine. A lot to learn each week over in the Trading Justice podcast. At tradingjustice.com, they also really put out a very, very nice monthly newsletter. Always really detailed, really informative stuff. Definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. Keep a lookout for that. That's tradingjustice.com for that newsletter and the Trading Justice podcast. Or just like the Huddle, you can find it on any of your favorite podcast providers. If you're ever looking for a little more information, you can find it over in the store tab on any of our different products. Never hesitate to reach out to us. Send us an email to team@Tackle Trading. If you have questions, we are certainly happy to answer them for you. We're active on all the different social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, of course, here on YouTube. We do a lot of live streaming content on YouTube, right? Special webinars, Trademasters, halftime reports. But we also have a lot of other stuff on our channel, a lot of walkthroughs, how-tos, what are, think or swim tutorials. And we're always thinking of different things that we can add to that as well. So if you if you are enjoying our YouTube content, it is always helpful for us within the YouTube algorithm. If you do hit the subscribe and the notification bell, it is certainly appreciated. It does help us, and hopefully it helps you stay on top of anything that we're doing, whether it's going live or a new video that we have added. At the end of the day, everybody here is on the same side. Not everybody has the same experience. Some people are brand new. Some people have been doing this a really long time, and everything in between. As I mentioned earlier, we can build our own tackle trading. But the one thing that we all share is we want to see each other succeed in the markets. Everybody wants to see each other succeed in the markets. Everybody is very helpful. That goes for the coaches, members of our team. I see it all the time. Over our Discord channel, somebody asks a question and a bunch of our team members are in there sharing answers. It's a really fantastic community. I'm very happy to be a part of it. I hope you enjoy your stay here as well. If you are a new pro member, I have no doubt that I'll be seeing you around in our different content, and I look forward to getting to know you better. If you're not a pro member, still hope the same for you, and appreciate everybody checking out this webinar here this evening. We do offer a standing offer of a free 15-day trial. You can find it in the link of any of our description on our YouTube videos or in the store tab, or send an email to team@Tackle Trading. We can get you set up. You can see what the back end is looking like. If it's a good fit, awesome. If not, that's okay too. But I think you'll find it to be a really fun place to be a part. And so, if you are not yet a pro member and would like to give it a try, very easy to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I've kept you. I'll let you get out of here this evening, but it has been my pleasure. I welcome you to Tackle Trading. I look forward to getting to know all of you. I'll see you in the different shows. I'll see you in the YouTube chat. I'll see you on Discord. Never hesitate to reach out to me personally, or any of us here at Tackle Trading. If you need some help, we got your back. Everybody here has each other's back. That's what I love about it. Welcome to Tackle Trading. Have a great rest of the week, both in and out of the market. And I will see you again very, very soon. But until then, good night and thank you, everyone.